going on, guys? Custom RC Mods here, and I know that a lot of you have seen the video. If you haven't, I'll go ahead and link it down below. But it is the 1600% RC airplane build, and so yeah, this one was kind of a failure. If you watched the video, kind of didn't end up so well. I won't spoil the ending, so you guys can go ahead and look at it. But I'm going to be going ahead and making this plane a little bit smaller in this video, so you can see this plane right here a lot more manageable. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, okay, so this thing's powered by an Inductrix board, which this thing, I ran out of props for this, so it doesn't work anyway, but I'm going to be actually throwing this system on here and seeing if I can get something that flies a little bit more fast and more agile than this thing, which was very underpowered by these motors. Now, I did tease the idea in the last video of putting some more motors on here, possibly another prop and some more motors behind these, but I do not think that that will be the solution to the issue, as this is a drone, a flight controller. It will kind of make the motors go crazy with the stabilization. So I'm going to go ahead and pass on that for now, but if this 400% plane kind of becomes a flop, then I will go ahead and come back to this. So yeah, I'm not going to be retiring this plane at all. This took a long while for me to make. At the end of this video, stay tuned. I'm going to be doing some durability reinforcements on this, and then you'll hopefully see it in some videos coming up soon. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and disassemble these parts right now. Alright, so as you can see, I've stripped everything off of this plane. It didn't take very long, but basically all that I did was I undid two zip ties to take the main flight control systems off with these two holes. It's surprising that these holes didn't rip through with the crashes and things like that. And then I unstuck the flight controller and the two LEDs, and I cut off the battery door that I had working. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I also took out these two shims that were in the back to keep it steady, because of course they're going to make it tail heavy now. So at the end of the video, I'm going to go ahead and cover these holes up with some tape, and then I'm going to go ahead and move some shims up forward and redo the nose. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and leave that aside. So I'm actually not going to be using this specific aircraft, but just for comparison's sake, I'm going to go ahead and show you what this 400% plane will look like with these huge motors on it. So it doesn't actually look that bad. You can see what the tiny motors were doing on it, but that was underpowered. So hopefully this will give it just a ton of power. I don't know exactly how it's going to work. I might have to, this thing flies so well as is right now, so I might have to cut some holes in the sides and do it. So I'm going to go ahead and build another 400% scale airplane, and we will go ahead and mount everything on that. So yeah, I'm going to have to get a new color of cardstock to do this. So who knows what I'll choose. You'll find out in the next clip. Alright guys, so now that I've made my 400% sheet of paper, I'll show you, here it is compared to this is a lighter pinkish color normal sheet of paper. This is like a thicker cardstock material, but as you can see, here is again the 100% plane versus a 400% plane, and of course you've already seen the 1600% plane. So yeah, a few notes about this. I was really precise with this. It took a little bit longer than the average person would take to do it, but it's going to turn out really good in the end. It's going to thank me for that, because we need something that's really precise. So I was telling Papa Phil, if you haven't seen his channel, he does a lot of cool stuff, but I was telling him in the comments that we do a lot of, when you get a bigger plane, you have more margin for error, which is kind of common, and he might have already known that, but it's kind of something that you got to take into account, that if I'm going to make a plane of this size, it needs to be a lot more precise than if I'm going to make a bigger 1600% or even a 400% plane. It doesn't have to be as precise. So that means that also if I make this super precise, then I can make it a lot better flying, and I can change the way that it flies just by making it super precise. So if you guys have always had trouble making a paper airplane that flies straight, please go ahead and make it super precise and take a ton of time to make it, because the more time you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. So yeah, let's go ahead and build the plane. Alright guys, so the plane is all built. I did have to go ahead and put some duct tape right here, just because this is where the tape seam is and it is kind of splitting. So now, in these next time-lapse clips, I'm going to be going ahead and putting some tape on this edge right here, because as you can see, we've got the taped edge right back here, but there is no taped edge right here, and this is probably where a lot of the impacts will be coming. I'm also going to go ahead and put a piece of duct tape on the very front of this. Neither of these things I did to my 1600% build, but I'm going to go ahead and do that right now just to make sure that the durability factor of this plane, especially when coming in for hard landings, will be preserved. Alright guys, so I've got it all ready to go. I did also go ahead and put some leading edge of the wing. I put some tape on there of the leading edge of the wing. So now we're going to go ahead and get ready to install the electronics. And so this is a very important, very crucial step. And so just for a point of reference, my electronics on the 1600% plane, let me go and grab it, were actually mounted flush with the paper color change. And that was too far forward. But before we put anything on, we need to measure the CG to make sure that we are good to go ahead and put the motors on. So basically, how I'm going to do this is I'm going to go ahead and assume that I'm going to put all my I'm going to have all my weight on besides the motors. And as you can see, my CG is the way you measure a CG is you put your two fingers underneath, and you can see that it's kind of coming up. You want to see the weight is in flight. So I'm going to go ahead and guess my CG is where the wings are level, and so my CG is right there. So kind of got to match it up with something and do a that's a dead marker. So I'm going to go ahead and mark the CG with a little dot on each side of the plane. Alright guys, so I went ahead and did the CG, as you can see with these lines. So the actual CG is right here, but I'm going to go ahead and mount the motors a little bit farther forward, just to make sure that we're all good to go, because as you can see, we don't want the motors interfering with the rest of the plane. So I'm also going to have just a few little other things that would make me want to push the motors forward. So yeah, let's go ahead and get some holes drilled for the motors. So basically what this is going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and actually put a little bit of space in the fuselage, and then just to have a greater wing space, and then we're going to go ahead and drill 2 holes where I can put some zip ties just like I did on the last plane. Alright guys, so as you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and snip these zip ties. But basically, I drilled 2 holes, just like I did on the other plane. And as you can see, it's looking really good. I gotta peel off this tape and put on some new tape just right where it usually went, and I'm gonna go ahead and put on the lights, and we should be good to go. Alright guys, I kind of moved the camera down, but the final step in this process is to actually find where the battery will go. So, this is going to be relative to the original center of gravity, of course, so now the center of gravity is kind of angled down, up a little bit more forward. So I'm going to go ahead and put one finger there, and put the battery kind of on top. And that's probably right about where we want it. So for this build, I'm just going to go ahead and get some double-sided tape and put the battery right there. But normally I would try to make some sort of contraption that would help keep the battery in place, and so I could remove it when I need to. But for now, I'll just go ahead and use some double-sided tape. So I'm just going to go ahead and get some little bit. It doesn't need too much. And I'm not making anything too crazy with like the waterproof box that I made for that snow test. But it does hold some promise just with this tape. So this tape is always interesting to peel back, and just gonna go ahead and place that battery right evenly spaced in between. So yeah, now you guys, of course, as you can see, we can power it on. Go ahead and get the remote. And this thing is running. I don't know if it's actually going to fly or not, but it definitely has the power to. So let's go ahead and go to the backyard and get some test footage.
Alright guys, so we're out here in the snowy backyard. There's the park over there, but yeah, so you can see that the plane is all ready to fly. So basically this flight, I'm hoping just to accomplish some basic just flying, and hopefully it'll just keep flying. That's going to be some baby steps, but before we fly, go ahead and put some up elevator on this plane, simply done by just pulling up the rear flap of the wing, and as you can see, you'll have a tendency to fly upwards because the air is pushing the tail backwards. Sorry for that mix-up. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and see how it flies. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. So we landed in one piece. Looks like there's only a little bit of snow on the nose, but let's go ahead and bring it back and give it another Okay, so you can see the plane survived, everything survived. The motors are bent a little bit forward, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Here we go. I noticed it was a little off balance. I think, oh yes, that was because of this motor strut wasn't pushed in all the way. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, back here, looks like it is all good again. Thankfully it doesn't really land upside down, I guess, or it hasn't yet. So yeah, we're good for one more test flight. Hey guys, so looks like the zip ties are kind of pulling through. So I'm gonna fly this plane to the ground today. Hopefully that'll help, and then I'll just repair it and hopefully it'll fly. But a lot of these paper plane projects only have 1 or 2 flights life in them, so let's go ahead, see if it'll fly. Okay, so basically what happened there, I kind of held it, and then I kind of tried a little turn and it just flipped over. So that's kind of unfortunate. Looks like we're still kind of good, but hopefully we might even be good for one more. Alright, move it back. Back it up. And 3. This transmitter switch is interesting. There we go. Okay, flip it into sport mode. Now it's really biting downward, so trying to keep it level. Oh, Okay, down in the snow, kinda, oh, it's okay. And it just flung snow everywhere. So yeah, that's the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Please stay tuned for a few more minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and do some reinforcements to my 1600% plane and tell you a little bit more about that. So let's go head back inside.
Okay guys, so that plane literally took a turn for the worse, but thankfully we've got this big plane that we can finish off with some good content on the video with. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I might try to make this RC again, and just because that kind of flopped on me. But anyway, so let's go ahead and repair it. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be using my packing tape, which is over here on the ground. I'm going to be using some packing tape, and you can see this is the hole where the shim went through. And I'm also going to be doing some nose repairs, trying to get all this extra scotch tape off, and yeah, and I'm also going to do a little bit down here. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alright guys, so I reinforced everything as you can see, just put some tape, more tape. That's pretty much the formula for this plane. But the next video that I have planned for this is I'm actually going to be taking my slash 4x4, making one of those big hooks that I made in most of my tow planes, but I'm going to actually be making it in this, so right here on the front of the fuselage, and we're going to go ahead and launch it with the RC car. So it's kind of like a glider tow. And we're going to see how that works. But one thing that I need to tell you guys is that these wings are super floppy, and when you tow it, what's going to happen is the wings will just fold backwards and it'll kind of not fly. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to take some fishing line, and I'm going to tie some fishing line to here and here and keep it so that it can bend inwards, but it just can't bend outward when it gets filled with air. So yeah, that's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the RC plane edition. I really do want to get an RC paper airplane working out of the Sentinel Spy drone parts, but you know, maybe today wasn't my day. Maybe I was having some other technical issues that I just was overlooking. So if you have any ideas of what went wrong, please comment down below, and I will try to take those into account. I may even try to make this RC again, because I think that had a lot more better handling characteristics than the 400% plane, which was obviously overpowered. So thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.